How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Shh. Hear that? Big waves are calling. Dive into refreshment with Kona Big Wave. Tropical flavor and the taste of aloha in every drop. So crack one open and let the great taste roll in. Kona Big Wave, Liquid Aloha. Copyright 2025 Kona Brewing Co., St. Louis, Missouri. Mahalo for enjoying responsibly.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
Warning! The following podcast you are about to listen to contains subliminal messaging. Josie and the Pussycats is the greatest mock rock movie of all time. The soundtrack is killer and should be played at maximum volume. This podcast is amazing. You also want to buy our merch. Okay, it's not that subliminal. Regardless, we're here to tell it to you straight that Josie and the Pussycats is not that bad. Welcome, one and all to It's Not That Bad, the podcast that looks for A grades in B movies, and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Hello to all of our listeners in Union City, California, and around the world. How you guys doing? Time to feel old, everyone, because the movie we're about to talk about is almost 25 years old. It has been almost a quarter of a century since Josie and the Pussycats hit theaters. My walker has been placed beside my chair in case I need to get up and go hurl at the thought of how old I am now. But here to join me in feeling incredibly old while feeling incredibly nostalgic, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
Oh, thanks for that. Instead of calling me out and being, calling me old. My question, though, if the movie came out 25 years ago.
Almost 25. Let's not put the full 25 yet. That's next year.
Close enough. How many years following the comic book did the movie come out?
You want me to do math? I honestly,
let's just call it a lot.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a hell of a lot. But I mean, I remember too, like the Josie and the Pussycats cartoon on Saturday morning cartoons, and I just really showed my age there, man. You know what? I'm going to stop talking about years. I'm going to start talking about decades and apparently eons. It's been a bit.
Whoo, just consider it levels.
Right.
And then it sounds cool, like you've leveled up.
Right. But here's the thing, right? We are this week celebrating the 4-year anniversary of It's Not That Bad. Now, do you feel old?
Actually, I think that makes me feel older than the 25 years since Josie and the Pussycats. My God.
Right.
I remember watching this on... Well, it was on DVD. It's not like it was VHS.
It's not like it's on Laserdisc or something.
Right.
But here's the thing. Every year around this time, we try to find a movie that, kind of fits our wheelhouse, one that we enjoy watching. And Josie and the Pussycats has long been on the whiteboard and the radar because for some reason, this absolute gem of a film qualifies, and it makes me agita to think that the critics would be so cruel to something that is so fun. But that's critics for you.
Who's a rock star?
We're freaking rock stars for covering this film. Damn right we are rock stars. And yeah, we may have quoted that multiple times when this movie came out. But yeah, so to celebrate our 4-year anniversary, we're going to make sure that Josie and the Pussycats get their flowers because this film has kind of become a bit of a cult classic, even though it didn't do so well when it was released. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Okay? We're going to take this totally jerkin' film, Josie and the Pussycats, and trailerize it.
Imagine a comic book movie where characters know that they're in a movie. Actors break the fourth wall, celebrities have cameos, and above all proves that meta isn't a four-letter word. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Get to the back of the line, Deadpool. It's Josie's time to shine. Before Riverdale turned dark and angsty, Josie, McCoy, and crew brought the rockin' smiles. But when the Pussycats hit the big time, friendships will be tested, loyalties put to the test, and our tolerance for hearing the same songs over and over in small snippets will be measured. Luckily, they rock. I mean, can you imagine if the song sucked? Whew. Rachel is the new Josie in Josie and the Pussycats. Rated PG-13 for punk rock girls.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of pop punk in this movie. And apparently when they were making the songs for this, they had Avril Lavigne as kind of like a template for what they were kind of going for as a vibe for this. And when you think about it, 2001, well, that is prime Avril Lavigne time. Of course, really now is also prime Avril Lavigne time too. So it kind of feels fitting that we're talking about this film now. But let's get into who is in the movie. The movie stars Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, Rosario Dawson, Gabriel Mann, Alan Cumming, Parker Posey, Paulo Costanzo, Missy Pyle, and Tom Butler. There were also smaller roles from Donald Faison, Seth Green, Breckin Meyer, Alexander Martin, Carson Daly, Eugene Levy, and Aries Spears. And before you ask, no, that is not Rachel Lee Cook singing all of those songs. That is the voice of Kay Hanley from Letters to Cleo, an episode we're going to go a little bit more into tomorrow. If you follow our There Can Only Be One podcast, because we're about to tackle the Josie and the Pussycats soundtrack over on Spin, Shuffle, Skip. Yeah, doubling down on the Josie. But there's an almost starring in this film. Let's start with the role of Valerie, as played by Rosario Dawson. Apparently, under consideration or auditioning for the role, listen to this list: Brandy, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Aaliyah, and Beyonce.
They chose wisely.
Oh, you damn right they chose wisely. But there were two under consideration for the role of Josie as well. Maggie Gyllenhaal, who you'll probably remember, who took over the role of Rachel Dawes in The Dark Knight, and Zooey Deschanel.
Ooh.
Right? And they were actually considering Zooey Deschanel very heavily, apparently, but they wanted to go with a namer. And in 2001, that namer is Rachel Lee Cook. The movie is written and directed by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan. This is the last cinematic movie that they would direct, probably because of how it did at the box office. Had a budget of $39 million, and I can only imagine how much of that was in corporate sponsorship, because there's a ton of companies mentioned here. But it grossed only $14.8 million worldwide. When it was released on the April 13th long Easter weekend in 2001, it debuted at number 2 with $5.2 million. The number one grossing film that weekend was Kingdom Come, which debuted with $8.3 million. But here's the caveat to this. It debuted in half the theaters, less than half the theaters than Josie and the Pussycats did. So it actually averaged more than 3 times more per theater than Josie and the Pussycats did. Also debuting that week at number 6 was Bridget Jones's Diary with only $1.1 million, and Joe Dirt debuted at number 7 with only $1 million. Also on the top 5. At number 3 was the third week of Spy Kids with $3 million. At number 5 was Along Came a Spider in its second week with $1.1 million. And at number 4, in its 19th week in the theaters with $2.1 million, was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So one hell of a theater run for that film. There are some accolades for this film. At the 2001 Teen Choice Awards, it was nominated for Choice Comedy Film, but lost to Miss Congeniality. Rachel Lee Cook was nominated for Choice Actress Female, but lost to Julia Stiles for Save the Last Dance. And Rosario Dawson was nominated for Choice Breakout Performance in a Film, lost to Kerry Washington for Save the Last Dance. And at the 2002 Phoenix Film Critics Society Awards, Three Small Words was nominated for Best Original Song, but lost to May It Be by Enya from The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. And this is where I'm about to have a small little aneurysm. So bear with me here. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say this. This soundtrack is killer. All the songs written for this movie are perfect for what they are supposed to be in this film. They're catchy as hell. Not a single song was nominated at the Oscars for Best Original Song that year. That year, nominees for the Best Original Song from a Film at the Oscars: Vanilla Sky from Vanilla Sky by Paul McCartney, Until from Kate and Leopold by Sting, There You'll Be by Faith Hill from Pearl Harbor, May It Be from Enya from Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and the winner was If I Didn't Have You from Monsters, Inc. by Randy Newman. Now, I understand that if Randy Newman does a song for an animated film, odds are it's going to either at least be nominated or win. And yeah, Sting and Paul McCartney are in there, whatever. This soundtrack doesn't get the notoriety that it deserves, because you think about it. This movie is built on that soundtrack, and yet not a single Oscar nomination. I call foul. I call hard foul. But the reason why we are here celebrating our 4-year anniversary are the critics, because boy, do they suck. Over at Rotten Tomatoes, this film has a tomatometer of 53%, with a popcorn meter also of 53%. At IMDb, it sits at 57%. Over at Metacritic, it has a Metascore of 47%. At the Movie Database, it also sits at 57%. And at Letterboxd, the good people of Letterboxd have this at a 3.5 out of 5 stars for a 70% score, giving this film an aggregate of 56.16%. So really, Letterboxd feels like the anomaly in all of this at 70%. But I'm completely in agreement with the Letterboxd score. Your thoughts on where this film should be using 56.16% as your launch point?
I think it's interesting mostly that the audience score is about par with that.
Yeah.
Like it's I wonder why. What is it that the audience was missing?
I think the thing is, and you know, we might as well get into this now. This movie was kind of ahead of its time with really calling out the absurdity of the music industry at the time. Remember, this is 2001. They're still talking Total Request Live.
I disagree with that, actually, because I think it's exactly perfect to just coming out of the 90s, right? It's right on the beginning of 2000. So the whole concept of the boy band, the girl band, the fans en masse, you know, that flock to the concerts and buy up all the merch and everything associated with, and just the whole like consumerism that they were kind of tongue-in-cheek, you know, promoting and mocking in this movie. You know, orange is the new pink. We need to have everything orange and Puma.
Right.
And that was really of the time.
Okay, but also think about this, right? This movie comes out into theaters with all its razzle dazzle and its bright colors and rock music and the whole thing. But really the message of, part of the message of the film is the average consumer is a gullible, malleable, empty mind that can be so easily swayed to do whatever corporate America wants.
I don't think so. I think it's more like jumping on the bandwagon. Like, this is the hottest band of the day. And you mentioned Avril Lavigne, and really, like, when, he was just a skater boy, and when she first came out, you can kind of see in high schools that punk rock pop kind of
but how many people
dyed hair and crazy, like,
how many people
colors.
started to like do their hair like Avril Lavigne? How many people went down to Napanee, Ontario to get a Canadian Tire t-shirt because guess what? Avril Lavigne wore one in a music video. Like, people did that. Like, this film calls it out, and I don't think people were ready to be called out at that point in time.
It makes it fun though, because it is like, it's almost kind of like a fun little archival of the time.
I think that's why, and a lot of people will agree that this film, in hindsight, gets more love than it did in the moment. I think it's one of those things where people look back and go, wow, I didn't really see it then. Probably because people were of that age then. But when they go back and go, this film's a little bit smarter than they think. But also the same token as well, people weren't ready, I think, for, people to take properties like an Archie Comics character and to kind of turn it on its head and be that kind of sarcastic but still fun kind of vibe.
I would almost love to see a revival now, today, because everything that's old is new and new again.
The Josie and the Pussycats reunion tour. Oh, dear God. But the other thing, too, is that Riverdale and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina have now taken the entire Archie Comics vibe and flipped it on its head in a way that's like, man, you guys are really freaking dark now. Is everything okay in Riverdale? Because I don't think everything's okay in Riverdale if you watch, that show anymore.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Hey guys, it's CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm partnering with Abercrombie this season to tell you all about their viral denim. All you need to know is denim should fit like this. My jeans need to check a lot of boxes. Fit first, trend second. They need to go with whatever I'm feeling. And Abercrombie denim has it down, whether I'm throwing on a tee or putting a whole fit together. Shop Abercrombie denim in the app, online, and in store.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
But let's get to the breakdown of this movie. We start, of course, with Rachel Lee Cook as Josie McCoy. Your thoughts?
Absolutely adorable. You know what? I like Josie. And don't get me wrong, she's the lead singer. I get it. But wouldn't it be more fun if it was like Val and the Pussycats or Mel and the Pussycats? Why has it got to be Josie?
I see you siding with Val. I get it. I understand. I mean, I understand too. The directors clearly had a vision of who they wanted to be as Josie in this film, because there's so much acting with her eyes in this. Like Rachel Lee Cook does like a lot of heavy lifting with her eyes in this film. So it makes perfect sense why they were considering Zooey Deschanel, because I could see her kind of playing this in the same way as Rachel Lee Cook did. But I feel bad for Rachel Lee Cook because this film came out in 2001 and it was unfairly maligned. And Antitrust, another movie that we covered recently, starring Rachel Lee Cook, came out in 2001 and it was unfairly maligned too. I don't get any hate whatsoever for this, but I understand why she was chosen to be a nominee for Choice Movie Actress in a Film at the Teen Choice Awards. It's kind of that vibe, but she's a ton of fun in this.
Oh, she is. And you know what? Like, that's the biggest takeaway, is that it is fun. It's a fun friendship movie about a struggling band. They make it big and their friendship is tested. But at the end of the day, du jour means family.
You're going to be quoting this film, aren't you?
I love
well,
it.
as we're sitting there watching this film, Carrie all of a sudden goes, "Stop me from cutting my hair."
Oh, yeah. In 2001, Rachel Lee Cook's hair was on point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah. But you know what? Like, it's a fun buddy movie. I mean, you can almost like call, the end. And especially if you've read the comic books.
Yeah.
You know that the bus passes forever.
Right?
Right?
I mean, it's exactly what you want it to be, right? Is it predictable? Yeah, sure. No worries whatsoever. But I mean, it's not meant to sit there and be a mind twist kind of film. It's a fun brain vacation. It's an hour and a half fun brain vacation with killer songs, lots of decent humor written into this. Like, I don't see any problem with this film whatsoever. I feel like we've been talking a lot about her recently, but Tara Reid, who played Melody, the drummer, your thoughts on her?
Absolutely adorable. I think she was incredibly perfect. You mentioned like the possibility of recasting, or how the other two roles, the bassist and the singer, could have been recast.
Mm-hmm.
But was Tara Reid always on this project?
I think they kind of had someone in mind. I mean, think about it, right? It feels like Melody is written as, what if Phoebe from Friends became a rock star? Because that's kind of what it feels like.
No, but you know what? She was much cuter. Like, literally, Tara Reid owned the role of Melanie, and she was so incredibly sweet. And I think really, especially when there was that riff between Val and Josie, like, Mel was just so sweet.
Yeah.
Even though Josie was so cold to her, but it wasn't her. She was mind warped.
Yeah. But although that turn was just so well played by Rachel Lee Cook, I'm going to put this statement out there. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic because I do love the film. This is the best Tara Reid performance in a film ever. Period.
Ooh.
Like, I know you loved her in the Sharknado films. I do. And she was good in American Pie, but that was much more of an ensemble cast. She was surprisingly good in The Crow Wicked Prayer, but we're kind of grading on a curve on that one. This film gave Tara Reid the exact bubbly, fun comedy role that she needed. And I don't want to picture anyone else in that role. She nailed it to a T. It was perfection. She was at that time the right person for the role. You can't tell me there's any other actor out there that you could see doing that at that time without it coming across as fake or forced. Like, it seemed so natural for her to be that rainbow and unicorns.
Well, that's exactly it. It was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was absolutely perfect for the role.
Yeah. And the funny thing too is, like, I recognize that the three of them, Rachel Lee Cook, Rosario Dawson, and Tara Reid, and I recognize the irony of what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say names. They went to band camp because they needed to look like they knew how to play the instruments. And when you're watching like the music video sequences that they're doing in this, Tara Reid looks like she's actually playing the like she clearly understood the assignment and went to band camp for it.
and two, keeping it true to what Josie and the Pussycats looked like in the comic book.
Oh, yeah.
They were comic accurate.
I mean, aside from like the full-on leopard print outfits, like the Skippy outfits. But
they had the ears
and even the tail,
and the
too.
tail.
Right? Like, this is so smart in its portrayal. And I would argue, right? This was Barbie before the Barbie movie. Because think about it, right? Barbie took the doll, the line, the legacy of the Barbie toy and everything else that came before it, and kind of turned it on its head into this smart, sarcastic social commentary. Josie and the Pussycats did the exact same thing. They took the comic property, they kept the characters comic accurate. Even if you take a look at a picture of what the three characters look like in the animated series, it's almost like they got the perfect cookie cutter actors who should have played those roles and turn it into a fun, quirky, social commentary, sarcastic comedy. Josie and the Pussycats walked so Barbie could run at Barbenheimer speed.
And we can compare this as well to Gem, although this is far
the thing with Gem
better, I think. Well done.
They tried to turn Gem into a more serious, I don't want to say teen angsty, but more like a YA kind of adaptation. But I don't know if someone came along and took Gem and turned it into a Josie and the Pussycats-esque kind of fun vibe, I think Gem would have been a much better film and been much better received. Because remember, Gem and the Hologram spent, like, what was it, like 1 week in the theaters, and they pulled it because no one came to watch it. But yeah, also Gem starring Aubrey Peoples, who played Tara Reid's daughter in the first Sharknado film. It all comes together as one. Rosario Dawson playing Valerie. I know you love her. Your thoughts?
So great, but you mentioned this was her breakout role?
So she was nominated at the Teen Choice Awards for Choice Breakout Role. Keep in mind, before this film, she had some like heavy films. She was in Kids, which is very heavy as far as subject matter. She was in He Got Game. Everything prior to this was a very serious, dramatic role. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, here's a bass guitar. You're about to be in Josie and the Pussycats. Go. And she killed it.
Absolutely. She was so great. Angry, but great.
But not angry in a depressing kind of take you out of the fun kind of way, right? Like, this allowed Rosario Dawson to show her comedy chops in a way that she hadn't had a chance to show them before. You know, we kind of see that same personality in Clerks 2, a few years down the road. But I think a film like this allows Rosario Dawson to like spread the wings and not get typecast into you play Moody. Go be in a Moody movie. But the key thing with Valerie, I think, is that, Melody's up in the clouds because that's Melody, right? Josie is the star, but also trying to remain grounded and all that. Val is the anchor. Val is the anchor that keeps the Pussycats kind of connected to reality, even when everything is pushing away from reality. Josie needs Val as much as Val needs Josie.
I completely agree, but it was interesting when they were being offered the contract that it was Josie who was the one that was like questioning off the cuff and going like, does anyone else see anything wrong with this? That, it's happening so fast. And you would tend to think that those lines would be coming from Val.
But I like the fact that you had that switch, right? That it was Josie that was so worried and making sure that they were all friends. And then Val is kind of like the reminder of that promise. Like that way, it doesn't put too much on Josie, right? If Val had been the one to be brainwashed and to like go all solo, like I don't think that would have done the character justice. And I don't think that scene where Josie starts to like really go a full bitchitude because of the brainwashing, I don't think that scene plays well if it's Val doing it to Josie and Melody as opposed to Josie doing it to Val and Melody.
Oh, I know. She had to be the one that was, left behind. Like when the limo pulled away. And I think I would just hope that Melody would be like a little bit more. I think I wanted to see more of Tara Reid and including Val, bringing her along and making sure that she wasn't left behind.
I look at it as this is gonna be the weirdest comparison ever, but follow me along with this one here. I look at it like Rush. I know you're looking at me like, what the hell? Where are you going with this? But follow me along. And I'm not saying Neil Peart is like all sunshine and rainbows. No. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson were like school age friends and started Rush together with John Rutsey. And then, of course, John Rutsey was out of the band and Neil Peart comes in and then becomes like the holy trinity of prog rock, right? But here, you're getting the same kind of Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson vibe from Val and Josie. And, Melody is still a big part of that, just as Neil Peart was a big part of Rush. But the deep friendship feels like it's coming from the guitar and bass. Yeah, I just compared Josie and the Pussycats to Rush.
Wow. Deep.
Right now, I can just envision people in their car looking at the stereo going, they give anyone a podcast. What is he on? Who let him in front of a microphone with thoughts like that? Why am I still listening? This guy's crazy. He's going to start spewing some weird crap.
And 4 years later.
4 years later, they still let me do the show. Damn. Whew. If you're still listening, thank God for you guys, because Gabriel Mann, who played Alan M., your thoughts?
Wasn't he fun?
This feels like the perfect Owen Wilson role, even though it's not Owen Wilson. Like, this feels like the role he would play. And I get, right? It's still aimed at that teen, young adult kind of audience. So, of course, it's going to be, I don't want to necessarily say a meet cute, but there is going to be the romantic interest. But I'm glad they didn't linger on it too much. But the scenes that you had with Josie and Alan M., I think work well because of the chemistry between Gabriel Mann and Rachel Lee Cook.
I like that he was an aspiring singer as well.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where he was playing at a bar and it was like the stage was positioned right near the bathroom. Like,
I feel that.
It was.
I've played those places. I feel that.
It was so. You know what though? You have to think that they both came from Riverdale, like had the same hopes and dreams, and he's seeing Josie and the Pussycats blow up while he's trying his best to just get a gig.
Yeah. I mean, was the scene at the end at the concert kind of cute? Yeah, but I think the best scene is literally when she's fixing his car and he's like, talking about, you feel like you should tell someone something. Like, that scene is played so perfectly, especially when, he starts to go off on this thing about, this guy really smells. I feel like I should tell him. Her reaction when she goes back to work in the car, like, like that I love that scene. Freaking love that scene. But I think that's more for Rachel Lee Cook than it is for him. But that's because, it's Josie's movie, but that allows her to be able to do all of that eye acting and, there's a lot of facial acting going on with her in that scene. Paulo Costanzo and Missy Pyle as Alexander and Alexandra Cabot. Your thoughts on this sibling? I don't even want to know what you'd call them, but whoo.
Absolutely hilarious. I love the scene where it was like, why are you even here? And the line, I'm in the comic book.
Right?
Like, so incredibly self-aware. And kudos to local boy Paulo Costanzo. Yeah.
Missy Pyle is so good in this role, though.
Oh, my God.
Like, Alexandra Cabot is there to be annoying AF. And Missy Pyle's done this a lot, like where she'll have this like total side character that steals every scene that they're in. You go back to Galaxy Quest, you go to Dodgeball, scene stealer, Missy Pyle.
But in a good way.
Oh, very much in a good way.
We love you for it.
Right? That's the thing. Like, the I don't even want to try and remember the name in Dodgeball, but like the unibrow character that's on the Cobras, and then in Galaxy Quest, she was Lalana from one of the alien. Like she comes in, and in this quirky kind of way, just steals those scenes. Like Missy Pyle is, I think, I know she's got a long filmography, but underrated comedic presence whenever she's on the screen. Alan Cumming playing Wyatt Frame. Your thoughts?
That phone was constantly attached to his hand.
That flip phone.
The flip phone. Can it get any better than that? Really? Like how awesome.
Yeah, he was about 1 or 2 generations away from the Motorola Crazer.
Oh my God. He was perfectly just evil, and I'm totally there for it.
Smarmy, conniving, completely fake and completely brilliant in doing it. Like
the perfect agent type.
Mm-hmm. Like literally every scene is a buffet, and the man came to chow down. But I mean, even in the worst of films, and this is not the first time I've had to talk about Alan Cumming, because of course he was in Son of the Mask playing Loki in what can best be described as a film. And even in that, he turns in a fantastic performance in a film that is utter crap. I can't believe I watched that film. This film is far from crap. This film is unfairly maligned by all stretch of the imagination. No, I think a lot of it leads into Alan Cumming.
But he was so funny. I think he was actually, it started so great when he was the agent for Du Jour and like slapping their wrists and like basically like dad talking them, you know, like.
Oh yeah. No, he is literally like for lack of a better term, he is herding cats at that point. He is camp counselor at the crazy bin. Like but he does it so well. And so I don't want people and our listeners in England to hate me for this, but so prim and properly British in a way that is, you just know he's up to no good. But again, British villain is a trope. Go watch, Attack of the Hollywood cliches. It's a trope. But when it's done with such knowing tongue in cheek that Alan Cumming does, like even that scene where he's about to hit the girls with his car in the middle of the road, and then he holds up the CD case to see what they would look like. And he just looks to the camera and is like, like, oh my God, he broke the fourth wall. And
the perfect use for Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Right.
Oh my God. And they actually, like, they're so self-aware of what they're doing with the, British villain, right? Because the whole, like, I've vacationed on the continent, and the sister's getting like all cozy with him, and he's like, fancy a breath mint? Like, it is so comedy, just comedy. Every scene. You were so right. He is just stealing the show.
Biting sarcasm delivered in a line to destroy Alexandra Cabot. Absolutely. But then you had Parker Posey as Fiona, the mastermind behind Mega Records.
Lisping Lisa.
Oh
my God. I loved her. I loved her angle. I loved when we found out her why, that really the big reveal is so that she would be popular and loved and adored. And you find out that like, it all comes from childhood tragedy. Or, like she was always the picked on unpopular girl.
You know what the downside to this is that I don't think they spent any time at all really allowing us to discover Fiona as a person. We just know her as head of Mega Records, working with the Pentagon to brainwash children. Why?
I don't think we needed much more, because every scene you're like, damn, she's evil. She's up to no good. We don't need to know why until we find out. And then it's like, aw, you're just so sweet and sad. And that's your why.
I will say the best moment for her in this entire film was when she's done her presentation, and then she'll turn around and say the quiet part out loud, and then have to spin around and, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I meant to say this. Like, I loved that scene about her.
I liked where she was trying to like become besties with Josie.
Mm.
And, and like she grabs one Pringle and she's like, I'm such a pig. And it's like, no. Like, really?
I mean, I get you were
like-
trying to build her as awkward, and that's kind of like, I guess, where the only definition of Fiona's ulterior motive is to become popular. But it felt really odd, that scene.
But again, that's the crossover where it starts to show her true self and her reasons, right? Like, I mean, she's so good at delivering the evil, but that starts to show that maybe it's a girl who grew up with no friends or very little friends, and she doesn't quite know how to make friends. So the awkwardness made it like, she's like, how much do you weigh? I weigh 115. Haha, I'm 3 pounds lighter than you. Like, come on. Like, that's not how you connect with someone. It's just awkward.
So you're saying that's not how girls talk to each other?
No, but it was so funny because it was so like cliche, but not like.
Way to make the conversation awkward, Fiona. Way to make it awkward.
It was so weird. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good reunion because, of course, Parker Posey and Rachel Lee Cook were actually in the same movie, playing the same character at different ages. This is the House of Yes, where they both played Jackie O at different times. So, yeah, they're trivia. But I liked Fiona. I think Wyatt Frame was the better antagonist in all of this. Because I guess I wanted more. I wanted more Fiona to begin with, but I guess I wanted more reasoning, right? You want someone to be so popular, and I think that's the kicker part. Fiona wants to be as popular as, at least as they're making Josie. So why isn't Fiona's face out there on all these billboards? Why is she hiding away with the people from the Pentagon with this secret thing? Why are we not seeing Fiona pictures all over the place? That to me would be the kind of character trait that Fiona would have.
But you kind of did see that at the party scene where she was being carried down the stairs and they kind of reworked the song.
Oh, I totally give you that. Yeah.
But you could see that at the party scene where they had like the Andy Warhol pictures of Fiona's face in the different coloration.
Yeah. Like it's there are indications there, and you are absolutely right. That scene sets up a lot, but it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the whole, I can't believe I'm eating this chip. I'm so gross, kind of thing. But yet there's pictures of her all over the place. It's to me, it's sending mixed signals, but maybe I'm missing something. We can't talk about this movie without talking about du jour.
Du jour means family.
Seth Green, Breckin Meyer.
That's my face.
Donald Faison, Alexander Martin. Your thoughts on du jour?
Oh my God, I loved them. I loved the scene in the plane before the agent jumped.
Before they took the Chevy to the levee, yes.
Oh, the whole thing about, that's my face and the whole fighting about the monkey and just like it's like herding cats. You said it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things where, yes, you do have that reunion of the four actors from Can't Hardly Wait, another film that was written and directed by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan. So it's almost like the very presence of those actors in those roles is almost as self-referential as the rest of the movie is to the industry that they're mocking. So that kind of makes it even funnier. But like the whole airport scene before they get onto the plane, pulling it straight out of a Backstreet Boys music video. Like, this film gets it. Like, I'm surprised with how much fun they're making of MTV and that kind of demographic that they actually got Carson Daly into this.
I absolutely love that, where they were like, and we've even created our own show to
VH1's Behind the Music.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I freaking love VH1 Behind the Music. We need more of it. But yeah, it takes a look at everything that everyone is doing at that time, when music stations still played music, and just skewered it, which is why I think this is one of those in hindsight cult classics, because it's smarter than the initial glitz and glitter is going to reveal.
I think it actually hit differently too, watching it now in 2025 from when, it first came out or when we first bought the DVD.
Yeah. And yes, we still have that DVD, and yes, we watched it on DVD, and no, it's not on VHS. So there, but yeah, like I wish in 2026 we get a rescreen, because I get the feeling that people going back and watching this now will have a good chuckle remembering what that MTV generation is like that late 90s, early 2000s MTV generation. Like, I'm not talking like the 80s MTV. I'm talking like the completely loud, completely fabricated late 90s, early 2000 MTV. I know we're going to do an episode on Spin Shuffle Skip about this soundtrack, but you have to admit that this movie doesn't work if the songs aren't good. And this soundtrack slays.
The songs are so catchy. Like, I can't help but singing it afterwards, like 3 small words and 5. Yeah, it just sticks in your head.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
You can easily draw a line with this movie all the way to That Thing You Do, the story of the Wonders, a one-hit wonder band. Both albums came out actually on the Playtone Records label, which was actually put together by Tom Hanks. So yeah, but you can't have a fake band movie and have the songs suck. But these songs, yeah, they kind of patterned it after Avril Lavigne, and of course the Du Jour sounds like every boy band out there. But the funny thing with Du Jour, and maybe you'll agree with me, the 2 songs on the soundtrack are better than a lot of the boy band crap that was out there at the time.
That is true. It kind of reminded me of the boy band that they created for the Turning Red animated movie, where the songs are actually really good. I actually have a playlist of dance songs, and I included the movie, the songs from Turning Red. I have to add Du Jour to that list as well.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at a movie like Rockstar, and the songs they made for that were just fantastic. Josie and the Pussycats, That Thing You Do. And yeah, this is Spinal Tap, because those songs were exactly what you wanted them to be. I find that sometimes the fake band songs are better than some of the real songs out there. But if you want to hear us talk more about the soundtrack, make sure you go over to There Can Only Be One tomorrow. We're going to have a Spin Shuffle Skip episode talking about the soundtrack. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that time. But yeah, this movie doesn't work, and it's way more maligned if the songs are catchy as hell. But now we've come to the end of our 4-year anniversary It's Not That Bad episode. And dear listeners, stay tuned, because up next is our Grading on a Curve special. You do not want to miss that. I wish I could, because the movies can best be described as a film. Okay, Gary, no more stalling, no more hiding. Who is your MVP of Josie and the Pussycats?
I'm going with the evil Agent Wyatt.
Wyatt Frame, Alan Cumming. You really can't go wrong with him. Even in the reveal at the end, and I'm not telling you the reveal you have to watch, even in the reveal at the end, Alan Cumming shows remarkable acting ability to change not just his way of speaking, but the mannerisms, everything about him. It's perfect. Which is also why he's my MVP as well.
I am shocked at you that it's not Rachel Lee Cook.
Rachel Lee Cook was up there, admittedly, as was Kay Hanley, who was the singing voice of Josie and the Pussycats. Kay Hanley, of course, being the lead singer of Letters to Cleo. But it's hard to really deny what Alan Cumming brought to this.
It's true.
Because without him, he's the better antagonist of the two between him and Fiona. But without Alan Cumming, this is just a quirky revival of a cartoon series, and they have a mystery to solve. And that could have worked, but it's made so fun because of Alan Cumming.
My God, they had the Scooby-Doo and Exit.
They did.
They did. Okay, I'm literally like 25 years after the release of this movie to realize and put it together, they have the Scooby-Doo conclusion.
Mm-hmm. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those damn kids.
Wow.
Yeah. Carrie, thank you so much for this. And 4 years of It's Not That Bad. And to you, our dear listeners, oh my God, thank all of you for 4 years of It's Not That Bad. Remember, stay tuned. Later this week, Grading on a Curve returns, where we're talking the worst Netflix originals. God help us all. But until then, you guys know the drill. If there's a movie out there that you think is unfairly maligned or is so bad that there is no way in Riverdale that we can find anything good to say about it, hit us up on social media at NotThatBadcast or go to our website at NotThatBadcast.com and make sure you're following our music podcast wherever you get your podcasts. There can only be one. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys have been awesome for 4 years strong. This is It's Not That Bad, proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. De jour means take care.